Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Luke Driscoll, one of the partners at CCS Fundraising. Welcome to the third episode of 5 Leaders and 5 Questions, a mini webinar series where we explore the challenges nonprofit organizations have handled in the face of crisis and how we can apply the lessons learned to what we are facing today amid the COVID-19 health emergency and the related financial instability of the markets. Today, we're joined by someone who is working with folks who are trying to solve these problems right on the front lines. Stephen Peeler is the Executive Director of the Infectious Diseases Society of America Foundation, which is located in Arlington, Virginia. He is a longtime association executive, having served as the Vice President of the American Society of Association Executives, and also led their foundation for many years. He has a unique perspective on how national organizations are trying to leverage the power and knowledge that their members possess while serving the increased demands of information from both the general public and the federal government. Thanks for joining me today, Stephen.
Well, thank you, Luke. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
For those who aren't familiar with the organization, maybe briefly, the sort of short elevator speech, what is the role of the Infectious Disease Society of America and its foundation, which you lead?
Of course. Well, I think everyone from a 5-year-old who wonders why they can't go out and play to senior citizens know right now what an infectious disease is thanks to COVID-19. We have 20,000 members that are infectious disease specialists, researchers, vaccinologists, epidemiologists, etc. So what we do at the IDSA Foundation as the philanthropic arm for the Infectious Disease Society, we make sure that the workforce has the tools that they need to grow and expand, as well as support them wherever they are in their career path.
How has the foundation's role changed supporting IDS members right now based on the current events?
Well, what we're trying to do is work with our members to support them in guidelines, help as far as getting the word out to our doctors and clinicians of things that are changing. We've updated our website to make sure that we have the resources from coast to coast, whether it's Seattle at University of Washington, all the way to Mass General in Massachusetts, and that the doctors and resources have the knowledge at their fingertips to make decisions on different trials, etc., that are taking place in the country. Obviously, today, everybody's hero is Dr. Fauci, who's one of our high-profile members and our superheroes. So we're making sure that we're keeping in contact with our members and giving them the resources that they need.
That's great. Now, just curious, that leads to the next question, kind of more on the fundraising side. How has the current COVID-19 pandemic and all the related issues changed the way that you're approaching fundraising?
Great question. One of the things that we have been looking at is how do we thank our donors. Most of our donors are our members, and our members are obviously rolling up their sleeves on the front line, so they don't have the time to answer a fundraising email or campaign appeal. So what we've created a campaign right now where we are thanking them in a unique way. We're launching a campaign called Unmasking Our Heroes. And what they're doing is they're sharing a story of someone in their hospital or on the front lines who's doing work above and beyond the call of duty that we would consider our heroes. So this is a national campaign, and we're supplementing that with a Twitter campaign around We Are ID. What we thought it would be best to do is raise the awareness of the foundation without necessarily asking for money at this time. Because our doctors are so overwhelmed and because so many of the hospitals are facing financial stress, if you will, it was important for us to let them know that we're here, we're behind the scenes, we're here to support them, but we want to honor them. So with this two-prong approach of unmasking our heroes, we're highlighting the tremendous work that they're doing on the front lines, Then we're showing the public what an ID doctor is, beyond Dr. Fauci. And third, actually, now that I think about it, we just launched a series of PSA announcements thanking the general public for staying at home and keeping social distance, so that the doctors, researchers, and public health experts can do their work.
That's a nice transition, and we didn't even work on this, so we'll get the points later of this, but that sort of next question was about social distancing. So now as a national organization, you're probably a little more at ease working at the end of a phone or through a video conference call than maybe some other organizations that are local. But what's one thing that you've learned as a result of this initiative, this social distancing initiative?
One of the things I've noticed and that I've definitely learned is that we cannot be afraid to insert ourselves into a conversation. Again, if it's going to be our doctors, one of our researchers that's going to come up with the vaccine, we want to be a resource, for instance, for the hospitality community to make sure that they know some of the guidelines that are going to be required to go into a locker room, go into a hotel, go back on a cruise ship. We're consulting with the Major League Baseball, for instance, talk about social distancing there. So personally, it's going for a walk with my dogs who keep me busy. But as far as the organization, it really is inserting ourselves in the conversation, whether it's at a university or hospitality, community, etc.
That's great. And obviously, as I said, sometimes fundraisers, we're always natural optimists. So when you look at the silver lining is, and you come out of this, that people, when they think about these issues, you'd love if they would immediately think about your organization. So maybe as a final sort of thought would be, what advice might you offer to some of your fellow leaders at this time whether words of encouragement or advice you'd want to offer?
I would say, first of all, thank all your donors. Thank all of your corporate supporters, your major gifts, supporters, etc. Let them know we're here checking on them. We did that through some various tools as well as personal calls. I would also say, don't be hesitant to lean in to the crisis. For us, right now we're working on how can we rapidly capture this audience that now knows what an infectious disease is, not just day to day with C. diff or measles or chickenpox or what have you, but now we're really front and center. And how do we capture that momentum and don't lose the opportunity for the future?
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you, Stephen, for your advice and especially for your time today.
Well, thank you, Luke and CCS, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. And we want to thank everybody for listening today to 5 Leaders and 5 Questions. And please join us for our next installment on episode 4. And we want to thank everybody and wish you to have a very successful day.
Thank you.